Next thing, indicator profiling. So this, of course, I don't know your background. I don't know how much experience you have with backtesting. What I'm showing here is, of course, are very simple topics for backtesting beginners, for traders who would like to trade based on facts. It's not high sophisticated. There's no rocket science what I'm showing here, but it's very simple, but it's all based on practical trading. So the next thing is indicator profiling and seeking alpha. If you would like to start backtesting, how I said before, from scratch, how to start? Yeah, well, first, target market analysis. Second thing is choosing indicators, but there are many indicators. How to start? Well, it's very important to optimize your indicators, to optimize your trading system, because that's what I said, trading like a professional, trading based on facts. You do not gamble, you do not guess, you trade based on facts. But how to select the indicators you would like to backtest? Most of the time, there is no structured process of selecting indicators. It's most of the time, or many traders do this, it's try and error. So, which indicator I should backtest next? Let's choose the Bollinger Band. Let's choose the simple moving average. Let's choose rate of change, whatever. And maybe this works, or maybe this didn't work. But the selection is random most of the time. But there are solutions that this process is not random anymore. The first step for evidence-based indicator selection is to look for the indicator alpha. How to do this, I will show you right now. Let's start the indicator profiler. The indicator profiler is a free tool included in WealthLab. And with this tool, you can look for the alpha of each indicator included in WealthLab. And as you might see here, you have here all the indicators. So good luck if you do this without evidence-based. To bring here more structure in this process, I will show you a simple indicator profiling. I won't choose all indicators because we have a running time of few minutes. It's a very fast computer I have, but I'm doing just all oscillators. I enable all oscillators. So you can see some indicators now I checked, and I'm doing the profiling. I'm doing it right now. And here you have the settings. You can say on which data set, which scale, how long is the observation period, how many years back, the analysis range, 10 years. And I think it's ready. Yeah, analysis complete. Okay, so you have here a big table. Let's sort this table. Now I have sorted this descending with this column, alpha. And what you can see here now is the following. We have here the settings. We have here a default look back period for all indicators. We have here the value 5. We have an N bar return, 5 days holding period. And we have some other settings I will show you in a couple of seconds. Let's start with this here. What we have here is the N bar market return, 5 days, 0.22. That's the market performance. And what you have here is the oversold. You have 4 columns: oversold return, oversold alpha, overbought return, and overbought alpha. Let's focus on the oversold alpha because we are focusing on anti-cyclical approaches, and so we need indicators that they when they are oversold. So let's focus on this column here. And what you can see here is the alpha from this indicator, the ultimate oscillator. Because the return of the indicator in this given period here of 5 days is 0.58, but the 0.58 includes the market performance. And if you calculate 0.58 minus 0.22, you get this value here, the alpha, and that's the outperformance. So, and this is good because this indicator works better as the benchmark. And so you can look for the alpha. This is the alpha from the indicator, oversold. And this would be the overbought alpha, but I don't think that's very, very good. Yeah, you can see that's not much alpha. It's doing a little bit, but it's not really good. Here it's better. Yeah. And you also have a different approach. You can also say the indicator is below his own moving average or above his own moving average. These are the next 4 columns, 1, 2, 3, 4. And which signal line you can say here? I have SMR. And what you have on the right-hand side here, the consecutive down and up, this is in fact the rate of change from the indicator. But most of the time, I think if, let's say, RSI is a very popular indicator, I think most of you know this indicator. If the indicator goes up, here is the setting 3 days. If the indicator goes up or down 3 consecutive bars, it should be the same than when the price of the stock goes down for 3 days. So it should not be much difference. So I don't think this is very important, but this is from my point of view, this is the important column here. And if you find something like this, that you have an indicator with an outperformance, it should be considerable to backtest this indicator. Of course, you can't say, okay, I'm choosing the first 5 and I put them in my trading strategy and I make optimization and this should be the perfect system. No, because the indicators, they don't only have to work for themselves, they also have to work together. And sometimes this did not happen. No? But let's look at one indicator. So what we are seeing here now, this is when I would like to analyze one of the indicators. I have done this with the ultimate oscillator right now. And what you can see here, the bottom axis is the indicator value. So that's the first approach to an indicator. And so you can see if you don't know the indicator, because there are so many indicators, you can't know every indicator. So let's say I have no idea what the ultimate oscillator is doing. So the first thing I can look here and say, okay, the indicator value could be between maybe, looks like 0 to 100, but in fact between 6 and 90. Yeah, that's the indicator value. So that's one possibility that I know a little bit about this indicator, because when I use an indicator, I would like to know what the indicator is doing. So, and what you see here now is, let's put here by the left axis the alpha. What you can see here is a trend when the indicator value is getting bigger, the indicator makes less and less alpha. So that's the first thing what I can see here. What I also can see here are different holding periods, 1 to 5 bars in different colors, and that the lines of the holding period, they correlate. Not perfectly, but they are nearly going in the same direction. Okay. And what we see on the right-hand side is a histogram. And what we can do now, let's say first, the use case for an indicator in common is to separate the good trades from the bad trades. Very simple spoken, but that's the use case for each indicators. And if I would like to say, where are the bad trades and where are the good trades here, I can look at this graphic and I can also look at this histogram. But let's make here the setting 5 bars, holding period. And what we have to do now is filter tails with less than 100 trades. You can also say 50 trades or whatever, because you can see here, green is alpha and red is no alpha, but you can also use the so-called bad settings for some filters. But let's stick to let's focus on the green things here. If you check this, you can see here, look at the graph, that they are gray now because there are 2 less trades. You only have 5, let's here 2 or 13 observations. That means trades, number of trades. Yeah? So that's 2 less for a statistical analysis. Trading is a statistical problem and 2 trades are no mass phenomena. So you have to switch on this, and then you have the interesting things. And now you can say, for example, okay, the ultimate oscillator, there were a lot of trades. You see many thousand observations. It depends what you would like. Would you like to use the indicator on the beginning of a system development? Then I would say, let's say less than 50. If you need some filter, you can go higher here. But this is a solution that the indicator selection process you are doing is evidence-based, is based on facts, based on outperformance. So it's no try and error anymore. Of course, that's just a first step. There are better steps. There are in the end of our education business, there are machine learning possibilities how to create your own indicators, to make mathematical operations on given indicators, and so on and so on. But this is all basic what I'm explaining here. Yeah? And this is the first way, a good way for beginners how to find out which indicator to optimize, because indicator profiling is no optimization. There you have very less settings here, as you can see, but it's a possibility to make here a structured process how to choose indicators.